Into game number 1 we will head out then. Of course, best of 3 series. See a couple people a little bit confused about that format. Best of 1s for multiple ties, as you'll all be very well aware of with the best of 1 shenanigans we had yesterday. The bonanza, more accurately, with that 4-way tie in upper division. Just a best of 3 for today, and then some best of 1s later on.
Yeah, going into the matchups, actually, if I'm not mistaken, they did just play recently, although with that foot smoke in, they're actually going to try and find some kills here.
Yeah, going to be a little bit too slow. Good positioning by OD. He is out of there. I do at least get the ward down pretty safely.
But yeah, into the breach, they did actually win out against Ghost Frogs just a couple of weeks earlier. That was a 2-0 in their favor, but our tiebreaker rules don't necessarily account for that head-to-head matchup. So we are going to be playing this one out. Very spread out here, but not getting punished, although.
Yeah, Olnit, pardon me, made that mistake last time I cast a Ghost Frogs. Apologies for that. Going to be able to escape pretty easily here. Body blocks and just a couple of auto attacks. ITV really chasing for this. Pugna, one of the faster heroes, but so is Luna on that Mount Nova. She will be easily able to escape.
It's a little bit risky leaving your position 1 behind like that, but just feeling a bit confident because they got the vision initially with the smoke. Can't really blame them for that. It's not like Luna goes down anyway.
Still more skirmishing top lane. Of course, laning ODs, they're forced to take the Arcane Orb. And he's going to be securing some pretty easy CS with that.
Yeah, at the same time, you really do have to be afraid of this Spirit Breaker. If he gets those bashes, you know, going for the bash level 1 rather than the charge, you get the Orb of Venom as well. Just a constant threat. You get a couple of cheeky bashes, and Luna can deal a lot of damage as well. Just the bonus right-click damage coming in from the passive for both of them is pretty significant.
Yes, down bottom focus. Getting bullied a little bit, but LeBron is here to take care of him. Very experienced position 5 player. As Tanner, yeah, with that 1 bash, again, all this bonus damage coming through on the Blessing. Now he's going to be able to escape. Super tanky support's going to be trading blows here in the top lane.
Do you see the constant impales coming out from the Nexus Assassin, but honestly, for the damage, it's not super mana efficient. It makes a lot of sense if you're using it to secure deny, secure last hits, but otherwise just spamming it out for the sake of spamming it, it's just not that efficient on the damage side.
And mid lane, Mastermind versus ADZ. This is going to be pretty Ember favored, of course, as to be expected. He's going to be able to cut and reach the backlines. Flame Guard as well, buffed quite significantly. You can always use Slight, as he's trying to do here, to avoid those Nether Blasts. The best way and the easiest way to do this consistently, of course, to make sure you don't get pump faked, is to just wait for the mana cost to go down.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I want to say it's pretty hard for them to get kills directly in these lanes, but rotations is really where it could come in, especially rotating for the power runes later on into the mid lane. Definitely set up things for our mid laners to get a couple of kills.
LeBron, now he's just doing a bit of skirmishing bottom, as maybe J4 in some trouble, has a charge, off to the creep wave he goes, he'll be A-okay. But so far, it's Owned Me doing a fantastic job in this bottom lane. This is kind of what you draft the Tidehunter for, into the Wraith King. You knew about this lane, you knew it was going to be pretty good for you. And it's going to be, I think, your more or less classic Tide game. The only concern I have is, even though the laning stage is still pretty much the same for these two heroes, is that this has been pretty, or Wraith King has sped up his build since the last time this matchup used to be super commonplace. It's a lot more about this Deso kind of blink armlet timing, much more than like a slower Radiance. So it's not going to really have a whole lot of time that Tidehunters used to have to be able to really pop off.
And one thing that's really concerning for me right now is that looking at the CS, it's actually a pretty bad time for Ember Spirit in the mid lane, which is not what I expected. I mean, Mastermind, you should be able to dodge a lot of those Nether Blasts using the Slight.
Yeah, bottom, the fight's going. There's going to be Focus picking up the kill first onto Nukumati. Following that, Onmi's going to at least be able to trade away LeBron, but it's going to be the first blood bonus here for Focus. As top lane, Olnet might be dropped next. He's going to be dead inside of that Astral Imprisonment. Tanner was there just to secure it in case they needed it. J4 with a Basher 2 might get lucky, but no such luck for him. 16 or 17% it might be, but for him, 0.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there if you just managed to get out of range. There's a salve ready on the Spirit Breaker, you're going to get healed back up, but the Luna, early levels, yes, you're pretty fast, but your base stats are not that high.
Is there a life drain up yet? Not yet. Still a little bit early. Mastermind up to level 5. It's a race off to level 6, essentially, in this middle lane to see who's going to be able to get that best start.
Definitely could see a lot happening in the mid game once you hit level 6 on the Ember Spirit. That's really when you can start rotating into the side lanes, combined with someone like a Spirit Breaker. That's a lot of kill pressure that could come out potentially.
And a decent top lane to gank as well. Even bottom, Tidehunter's a bit of a tough target. Well, I don't think you're really catching a Weaver too easily. That'd be kind of a big commitment. Tide's a little bit too tanky, but top lane looks pretty good. Not much a Spirit Breaker can really do to stop a ganking mid laner, especially a ganking mid laner with level 6. ADZ might be able to channel that life drain enough. As bottom, they are looking for Owned Me. 3 points here in the Anchor Smash. He's got another one in a second, and even if there was a crit coming, it wouldn't do much damage.
Yeah, I am a bit surprised that we're not seeing more stacks coming out just yet. Tidehunter, great for taking stacks. Luna, great for taking stacks. Even the Ember Spirit as well, so... so far, haven't seen too many of those just yet. Probably will be the case in the future, though.
There was plenty of damage mid lane. ADZ with a pretty big XP lead, actually, in this mid lane. 20 denies on the Pugna. That Decrepify ended up proving to be quite difficult for Mastermind to actually end up dealing with here. There's another cheeky life drain, which is going to be broken immediately, but he's forced to tank that damage. Luckily, the Flame Guard is up, but now it's burst through. ADZ sipping on the bottle. Will not be able to chase Mastermind out, however, behind that tier 1. And that last creep is level 6 for Mastermind. Much more safe for him now with the Remnants available and at play. However, his tier 1 tower, the same could not be said there. So there's a wagon, as well as, of course, this Pugna continuing to do a bit of work. Pugna limited by his mana, however. He's got enough for at least one more blast, but does need to at least save a little bit of mana lest he get jumped by a gank or just by the Ember straight up.
Yeah, Mastermind, his CS looking pretty bad, and then you have to consider the fact that a lot of his CS is actually coming from that stacked easy camp, so if you look at the net worth, it's actually not good whatsoever, and that's perhaps where I would like to see him, just call for a bit of help. Get the Spirit Breaker in, try and set up some pressure, because, rotating out, yes, you're pretty strong, but that would probably mean giving up your mid tower, which is kind of similar to playing against something along the lines of Dragon Knight.
Yeah, Dragon Knight or even a DP is Olnet. He's going to be able to turn this one onto Tanner. Back to high school for you, but ADZ is here. They're going to turn back onto the bullies. No charge out here for a couple more seconds, make that even 9. So that Impale is very likely to seal the death of J4. Some breathing room there for Mastermind, and Olnet is able to escape. But still, this is a little bit concerning, considering a very, very good sleight of fist dodge there at the very least. Is going to get Mastermind out of this one. But there's not really a whole lot to stop them from just continuing to do that for about the next 10 or so minutes. Even someone like a Tidehunter, they've got ways of ignoring him here. If he does decide to show up, both with Phantom's Embrace, as well as, of course, now this Meteor Hammer into the Astral play, which is now online. Ooh, very ambitious here. as the one last Arcane Orb is going to be able to get the kill. That's going to be a forced, well, I would say walk of shame back for the Spirit Breaker, but of course he can run.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, Ghost here just trying to grab some EXP on their supports while their cores, I mean, it's not great. Luna forced into the jungle, level 4, you know, level 5, level 6 becomes a lot more efficient, but also, as I was saying earlier, doesn't actually have any stacks to fall onto. So this is just, you know, plain old jungle farming.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Nukumati able to escape this time, as the Tidehunter already needing to show up in the mid lane. This does leave Focus basically completely alone bottom. He's now going to have himself that armlet and brown boots ready to go into phase. I think this is a game where you do want to go for this faster build, seeing the way that the game is heading. I think he's going to have a nice little death ball push along with the rest of ITB with that itemization.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually mind seeing an early Blink Dagger come out, just being the one to set things up for his team. You go in, you die, that's fine. You've got a lot of damage coming in, and if nothing else, they can be taking towers, even if they don't follow up with a full-on team fight.
Dire's bottom tower
Focus
is
is just
under
completely
attack.
alone. The Tidehunters just, they've needed to call him over at least to defend this mid tower. So even though you do generally have this hero who's going to be able to bother and annoy the Wraith King a little bit, his attention has been pulled. His attention, pardon me, has been pulled elsewhere on the map. And even still, he might not be too safe here. Of course, Vendetta no longer breaks, so he doesn't have that to fear from Tanner. They have got plenty of ways of killing it, and no lack of magic damage either. As down goes the tier 1 tower, so even though the Tidehunter shows up mid, he's not going to be able to really stop the tower from falling. It's another kill here. As J4, it will be dropped by the OD, who himself has taken the tier 1 tower. So that's now mid and top both down. They didn't even need the 10-minute wagons.
Yeah, really getting pulled apart here. You know, the supports just trying to soak EXP, multiple cores in the jungle trying to farm up, but it's so far the efficiency, it's just not working out for them just yet. I wouldn't mind seeing them keep the Luna in the jungle, but maybe try and force something with the rest of their heroes. They've had the Ravage for quite some time now. Wouldn't mind seeing them try and get something done.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little bit difficult here for him to get in there. Again, LeBron, 3 points in Inkswell, but even still, that 1 point in the Phantom's Embrace is going to make life difficult for him. At least with a Luna nearby, he can clear it pretty easily. Ah, yes. Of course, how could I forget? They've got this pretty nasty combo, Decrep into Phantom's Embrace. Really no way for Enemy to get rid of this Phantom now without the help of his team. Or I guess building a Manta style or something like that, but that's not likely. So he's just going to have to
Yeah,
deal
the
with it.
Weaver on paper can help deal with that with the Geminade, but it really has to be a right place, right time. Nothing quite on the same level as the Aghanim Scepter on the Weaver later on, but that is a long, long ways off.
All right, now ITB doing a pretty good job of just playing up. Wherever Ghost Frogs do end up showing up, they kind of end up mirroring their movements mid lane right now, so we have a couple of heroes. Weaver gets the time lapse off, however. ADZ really extending his range there on that life drain with the Aether Lens and the Keen Optic he's both found. Pretty nice item for him. As Mastermind is going to end up getting dropped. Oh, they caught him top lane. That is a big one, and that's going to give the green light for ITB to look for a bit more. Tanner trying to connect on the stun. Will be able to find the Weaver. Nukumati taken down. And ADZ still chasing forward. He decreps himself. I'm not sure if he really meant to do that, but no matter. He's still going to be happy with the kills that he's managed to find anyway. Right now, 4K lead for ITB, 7-1. Kills don't mean everything, but it's, you got to at least look to equalize a bit here if you're Ghost Frogs if you want this game to last a bit longer.
Yeah, not looking good currently. Just playing completely at their pace at the end.
That team fight breaking out. Another ward is down. The Ravage finally coming through. Does find 2 heroes. Inkswell stun, though, still buys Pugna a bit of time, but not nearly enough. His ADZ is going to be smashed by Owned Me. There's a little bit of an overcommitment by ITB as they stay around in the jungle, not really respecting the Ravage as they should have. However, Focus still manages to apply map pressure and pushes down the tier 1 tower all by himself with the skeletons. lane as well. Onmei, he's got a Hooded Defiance up, but he's still taking a lot of damage. There's a charge heading towards the OD, but Focus, he's got eyes on the Tidehunter, does manage to take him down. OD astrals himself, buying him a bit more time. Is now ITB respawning, ready for this team fight. They get out of range of the Ember Spirit. They stun up second with the Inkswell stun, and they completely turn that on its head. OD makes it out alive, and ITB return the tips onto the Tidehunter.
Yeah, not too sure about that. I think you actually just let the Tidehunter go. You've just used the Ravage. That was, pretty much what your lineup was supposed to be able to do, is fight around this Ravage, fight against the Death Ball. But without that, I'm not too sure. Now, on the bright side, Allnet was farming, but his enemies closing in on him.
They're going to have to cancel that charge, but begrudgingly so. They'd really like to kick Focus from the triangle, and most importantly, let Luna have some of these very, very important ancient creeps. You're doing a good job. Oh, award denied. This is a really crazy jump from Mastermind, however, as they do catch him with the Phantom's Embrace. Good Inkswell stun as well. Stops Allnet in his tracks. He's dying to the skeleton, so he's going to have to lifesteal off of those. That means that J4 is completely alone on the low ground, along with Owned Me and Mastermind. There's a kill onto J4. Big old crit there, but ADZ's doing a great job at just breaking this team fight in two, almost breaking apart the Luna, and has done so. Allnet just dying there to the magic damage of ADZ. Ghost Frogs will be kept out of their triangle. In fact, there's going to be the +1. Nukumati can't even escape. This is starting to look really bad. Oh, they call Mastermind again, of course.
Yeah, it's really all just falling apart. They've got the Ravage up in 20 seconds, but for that, just the brute force fighting into the enemy when they've got vision control. I just don't really see that working out for them. Enemy in your triangle, go back to the main jungle. Although at the same time, doesn't help that ITB do have some pretty nice wards set up. So immediately you see those pings come in. Allnet on the other side of the map, smoke up straight into him because the wards from earlier did not get cleared out by Ghost Frogs.
Tanner Smoke will break. He's going to know there's someone either on the high ground or in the trees. Not really too willing to fight. Didn't have Vendetta anyhow, but yeah. ITB doing a great job continuing to push the advantage. That is going to be their vision game with the Nyx Assassin. They aren't going to have that kind of leg up. Nukumati doing a decent job as well at providing vision, but when you're down 9k and playing a Weaver, this hero's only got 900 HP. I reckon Arcane Orb does probably about 400 a hit. So, he's not really living too long, unfortunately for him. Nyx Assassin, on the other hand, great hero to be playing from ahead. Because basically, you scout an enemy hero, and you just stun him once, and the rest of your team is there. Bada bing, bada boom, they're dead. Owned Me. He's going to show. TP's here. He's completely alone. The rest of Ghost Frogs currently sweeping into their own jungle. But the tier 2 tower is going to be taken down. Focus even just buying his own time there to be able to make sure he gets the last hit. Owned Me trying to get back up onto the high ground. Oh my goodness, he's just dead. That's a Tidehunter. That's not supposed to happen. They just killed him like he was nothing. And now Mastermind might be in trouble. Meteor Hammer's coming down. Do they catch him here? No. Does get off the Sleight of Fist dodge this time around. But another ward is going to stop him from chasing any further.
Just gotta wait for that Tidehunter. He's got the Ravage, but trying to force anything right now would not be a good idea. On the bright side, though, Luna on the other side of things is farming up.
She is, but she's going to need this BKB very badly if she wants to even live, let alone stand in these team fights. Because otherwise, she's just going to be decrepified, thrown into an astral imprisonment, meteor hammered. There's just nothing she can hope to do. And speaking of BKBs, ADZ's almost got his completed. Just needs about 600 more gold. That Roche is going to give him a third of that bounty. Focus with Armlet Deso going into a BKB of his own. Wouldn't mind the blink either, but this is always going to be the safe choice. And an Ag Scepter for OD. A little bit more setup, just taking someone out of the fight as well. Always a very strong item versus the Tidehunter. Nothing that Kraken Shell is going to stop you from that 4-second astral imprisonment. Oh, it's just feeling really rough for Ghost Frogs. And they get Mastermind again! That wasn't even the OD this time.
Yeah, you were talking about the Phantom's Embrace. Such a powerful spell this game. And, if you aren't able to dodge it out, which is possible, honestly. Your Ember Spirit, pretty much 0 turn rate required, 0 cast time. It is possible to dodge a lot of spells, but slow for half second, and there is just so much to lock you down.
Yeah, and that is going to be very, very troublesome here for Ember, as he was just about 400 gold away from his own BKB. That would have kept him alive in that engagement, or in that little kill attempt. Noob Focus is just going to, yeah, he'll just tank this tower. I mean, look at this siege. It's incredible. Armlet active. We'll be able to get off the low ground as the aggressive Fortify comes through for ITB. They're looking to force the issue now. They don't want to let Mastermind get this BKB up. Still quite far away. Smoke up now. There's a blink on Tidehunter. He's just bought it, so this would not have been scouted by ITB. The question is, will it make a difference? 2 lives on Wraith King, 2 lives on Pugna. Smoke's going to be break. It's going to be the Nyx Assassin finding them. It's a pretty decent Ravage. It catches 3. The follow-up is decent. Tanner's going to drop, but now the turn. They've squished the bug immediately. They've Astraled Imprisonments 2. They might even catch both on the Hammer. They don't. They only need the Ember Spirit. He's going to be taken down due to the residual damage. Nothing Olmec can do. And the Chi-Chi is called. It's already over. That's game 1 already.
Yeah, the item timing's just coming there for, well, clearly one side and not the other. BKB's completed for Pugna, whereas no BKBs on the side of Ghost. Just getting crushed on the power.
Yeah. And